This is the new Polestar 3 and it's the most expensive Polestar you can buy. But this range-topping version with all the options on it costs £85,000. This means it's a direct competitor for the likes of the BMW iX, the Audi Q8 e-tron and the Mercedes EQE SUV. But is it good enough? To make sure it's competitive, Polestar's given it loads of tech and a really cool looking interior. They've also made it quite spacious too, so there's plenty of room for your family. And you can get it with the kind of kit you'd want with your high-end luxury electric SUV, such as an electrically deployable tow hitch. Premium. So is this car a Polestar or a step too far? I'm going to tell you everything you need to know. The Polestar 3 is a smart looking car. It's a large SUV, though it's actually got quite a sporty look to it with a sloping roofline. Wheel sizes start at 20 inches. These are the 22s, the range toppers, and you can get brake calipers in this sort of goldy colour and goldy little dust caps there for the tyres as well. As standard though, you get Brembo brakes. Look at this, you've got poppy-outy door handles, which are nice and easy to operate. Sometimes these kind of door handles are pretty horrible. Yeah, so press there and it should open, and now it doesn't. Now it doesn't. Now it does. But I like these. The front is really distinctive and I like this feature. It's got a sort of vent there. Really cool. I also like the way that they've housed all the sensors in this area here, and it doesn't look terrible like on certain cars such as BMWs, which are just like horrible big pieces of plastic. It's a nice looking car. I like the light design, and let's turn the lights on so we can have a look at them. Pretty cool. And I like this feature. Look, little illuminated Polestar there. The back's pretty distinctive, like the light bar, really cool design. And the way you got these little slats in the light at the top. You got this big spoiler up here, look, with this ventage going on. Not sure about this part though. Look, it's kind of these pointless flaps. Overall though, I think this is a really good looking car. The interior design is really cool. I like the dash, it's minimalist. You've got this huge screen there, more on that in a bit. You've got your digital driver's display there. This big center console separating you from the passenger. It's all man-made fabrics in here, and uses recycled materials as well, and it all just feels really well built and really expensive. I do like the interior on this car. I like the feel of the stalks as well, and that's your drive selector there, which is nice and handy. And I'm glad that Polestar hasn't been tempted to put all the controls, such as for the wipers and stuff, through the screen like they have on Teslas. The seats are blooming lovely, really nicely contoured, and there's plenty of adjustment in them as well. Storage is great in this car. Look, you've got a huge cubby under there, you've got your cup holders here, you got your... that was dramatic. More on that in a bit. You've got your wireless charging there for your mobile phone with those little vents to cool your phone so it doesn't overheat. There's loads more storage under here, 2 USB-Cs, and that's for holding your phone in place. Let's check out the glove box. So to open it, I have to press this button here, and watch this. Oh, the way it lowers feels expensive, as does the felt lining. This is all very good, and so too. Oh, the door bins, look, they're huge. It's practical here in the front. Here in the back seats, there is one small problem. It's this. The seat bases are quite close to the floor because of the battery pack underneath there, which means you don't have much under thigh support. Fortunately though, because there's lots of foot space and lots of knee room, you can stretch your feet out like that, so it is very comfortable. In fact, the backrests are quite reclined, which is nice, and there's plenty of headroom. I do think that the Kia EV9 feels more spacious, and if you want to see my full in-depth video review of that, then follow the QR code on screen now, or click on the pop-out button in the top right-hand corner of the screen. When it comes to carrying 3 people in the back at once, check this out, right? Look, come on, everyone in. So, bit tight maybe on shoulder room, but everything else?
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, pretty good, yeah.
Pretty good. Other things I like, the fact that the rear windows go all the way down. You have big door bins here in the back. There's a couple of USB-Cs there as well, rear climate control and seat heating on the outer seats. Got easy access ISOFIX anchor points, which makes it very simple to fit a child seat in here. Fold this down, big comfy armrest and cup holders that are hidden. And we have airplane style folder pockets on the seat backs, really nice, as is the panoramic glass roof, which is standard on all models. However, there is something that I don't like so much. Unlike with something like a Mercedes EQE SUV, you don't have 3-way folding split seats. They're just 2-way, and look at this, the through loading is rather tiny. It's not great. The tech on this car is very good. The infotainment system runs Google and the screen is nice and sharp. The processor's zippy as well. To access the different menus, you press this and then you can go through different configurations and so on and so forth. One thing that is annoying that The climate control is done through here, so no physical buttons, which can be a bit of a faff, but you can use the voice commands through Google, your Google Assistant, like that, to ask the car to change various functions. I like the driver's display, it's nice and clear, and by pressing these buttons here, they look touch sensitive, but it's only for the selection choice there. You physically press them in to cycle through the different menus. Also, you can get the car with a heads-up display, and it's really nice and clear. There is a problem with this system though, and more on that in a bit. Boot capacity is 485 litres, which is a bit less than its main rivals. Now, you don't have a load lip to lift stuff over, so it's easy to slide yourself in and out, or your luggage in and out. You've got this divider that you can position like that, so you can make use of this and stop things sliding around. And there's other bits and pieces, such as tie-down points, there's nets, there's hooks, there's a 12-volt socket as well. Now, to fold down the rear seats, you have to do it from here. I like the way it flops down the front headrest, look. And then you have a nice flat low bay. In fact, it's so flat, I could definitely sleep in here. So if you wouldn't mind just touching the boot, I'll leave you for the rest of the review. Oh, actually, I need to tell you something else, okay? Unlike the BMW iX and Mercedes EQE, the Polestar 3 has a front boot. So there's somewhere to store your cables and stuff like that. Unfortunately though, the capacity is only 30 litres, so it's not as comfy to sit yourself in as the front boot on a Tesla Model Y. I don't know why you'd be wanting to do that. However, if you want to see my full in-depth video review of the Model Y, click on the pop-out banner in the top right-hand corner of the screen, or scan the QR code with your mobile phone to go watch it. Anyway, that brings us to 5 annoying things about the Polestar 3. You've got to be careful in using the door release, because if you don't get it right in the centre, you can end up snagging your finger and pinching it like he's pinching the skin. That happened to James. It hurt him. Poor James. Because this car is all about the Google, seems they've forgotten to fit Apple CarPlay. Apparently it's coming later, but I wouldn't hold your breath. And ha ha, Apple owners. To save space, or should that be money, there is no separate switches for the back windows for the driver, so they have to press this toggle switch like that to then lower the back window, look. That's all a bit ID3 from Volkswagen, that's the kind of Apple. This black plastic trim not only will scratch pretty badly, but it reflects terribly as well, so when you're driving along, you get all reflections from the surrounding conditions there and it distracts you. As I've already shown you, to open the glove box, you press a button on here. And if you want to adjust the steering wheel or the mirrors, you have to press that first, and then you can control them using this, okay? However, if I put the phone to drive, watch this, right? So look, those are those icons there. I'm going into drive. They have disappeared. So now, if I want to adjust those things, I have to go digging around in menus, settings. I mean, should you really have to do this? It's just too long-winded if you want to change the steering wheel or the mirrors or open the glove box when you're driving. Oh, another thing, there's no shortcut button for your driving modes. Instead you have to go into there, press drive, and then you can alter everything. To be fair though, there are loads of different settings. Look at all those different settings I can change, just so many. And that brings us to 5 cool things about this car, and that was the first, by the way. You can raise and lower the car's air suspension from a button in the boot to make it easier to load and unload. Also, I love this. You can store the load cover underneath the false floor, and it's super easy to fit. You can get it with a Bowers & Wilkins stereo, which is incredible. So it's got 25 speakers. You get speakers in the headrest. It's a little tweeter up there on the dash, so it does reflect slightly in the windscreen, but I'll forgive it because you've got 1600 watts of power, and you've got Dolby Atmos as well. Have a listen to this, it's amazing. You're probably not going to sense this, but the sound is causing me to vibrate, and I can sense it just swirling around the cabin. Wow! It's like being in a cinema. The panoramic sunroof has a special coating on it which can block 99.5% of UV rays. That means that you don't need a sunroof blind because it prevents the cabin from heating up. And the good thing about having no sunroof blind means more headroom in the back seats. The car is fitted with a special sensor which can tell if there's an animal or a child in the car, and it'll automatically turn on the air conditioning to keep the temperature just right so they don't get too hot or too cold. If you want to compare all the different versions of the Polestar 3, just pause the video so you can look at all the information you might need. Now, which version of the Polestar 3 would I go for though? Well, to find out, just click on the pop-out banner appearing in the top right-hand corner of the screen, or scan the QR code on screen now because I've configured my favourite version using CarWow. If you're changing your car, then you've got to check out CarWow, because there's nothing quite like knowing that you're getting a great price, both when selling your old car and finding a new one. CarWow makes all the stuff that's hard work about car changing, like the haggling, the no-shows, and the nasty surprises, a thing of the past, life-changing. Now, if you want to go to CarWow right now, I'll put a link in the description of this video and the pinned comment. Alternatively, you can click on the pop-out banner appearing in the top right-hand corner of the screen now, or scan the QR code on screen using your mobile phone to go directly there. Car change, CarWow. This Polestar 3 is a really comfy car to drive. The air suspension on this particular version just deals so well with bumps. I wouldn't know that the wheels are 22 inches in diameter because it's just so good at just absorbing bumps. Look at that, I'm driving over these bits, just like, it's an expensive sound, the way like just absorbs the imperfections in the road. And I press this button down here to go full one pedal driving, so when I lift off the accelerator the car will come to a complete standstill, and it's quite abrupt, so you can basically just poodle around town without having to touch the brakes, which is a good thing, because I do find that these brakes are a little bit sensitive when you first touch them. So like there, it was a bit too grabby, especially when you've got the regen effect in maximum setting. Actually, as you go quicker, the brakes feel more natural. It's just at low speeds. I'm not sure about that indicator noise. Even though this is a big car, it's quite easy to manoeuvre. Part of the reason is you've got a good driving position. The dash is reasonably low. Even though you've got this like sporty, steeply raked windscreen, you get a great view forward. You know where the corners of the car are. You've got big door mirrors, and the way they're positioned means that you get a little bit of visibility down there. So even though this pillar is really fat, the blind spot isn't that bad. Back windows are decent enough size. However, the rear pillar is quite thick, and so that does create a blind spot. You know, when you're filtering out of junctions or pulling out driveways and stuff, that can be a little bit annoying. Steering is nice and light. I've got it in its lightest setting, and to tell you the truth, that's how I keep it in this car all the time. The ability to just control it on the accelerator, it's not overly responsive. Yeah, when you put your foot down, it takes off. It's really natural feeling. You can just control it so easily. Like, look at that. This is one of the things I really like about electric cars, driving them around town. Now, one of the problems that you would have with a big car normally is the turning circle, like trying to turn a ship. But this is something like 11.8 meters, which is better than its German equivalent, such as the BMW iX and the Audi Q8 e-tron. So I'm going to do a U-turn here. I'm going to press this button to get my cameras up, and the cameras are really good quality. I'm going to cause chaos as usual. So let's go around. They're going to let me. Thank you so kindly. I'm not sure if I'm going to make it all the way around here. Maybe. Look, without covering these big alloy wheels. Do not cover the wheels, Watson. Very happy person. I don't know why. Oh, it's the van. No, I'm going that way. See, she's kind. They're really, really nice. Person in a white van is honking their horn. There we go. But I didn't get flustered, and that's the beauty of this car. The soundproofing is so good. Apart from that honking horn, I don't really hear anything from the outside, and it's just so relaxing to travel in. To be fair, on the van driver has probably got an Amazon delivery to make, and we all hate it when our Amazon delivery is late, don't we? I'm impressed by this. Wait, I've got an idea. Let's go on to auto cruise. Look, I can auto cruise in town. And I like the way that you can just accelerate to pick up speed, and then it will drop back down to the speed that you set. Press these buttons to get to 20, which is the limit. It's auto steering. I'm not sure whether I trust auto steering in town, but it's picked up the white line. I'm trying to illustrate it without taking my fingers off. Oh, keep your hands on the wheel. It's so smooth. This is a good car. I can tell already it's a good car. It'd be interesting to see what the single motor version of this car is like to drive, because that doesn't have the air suspension. It has normal coil springs, so it probably won't be as comfy as this. And you probably do need air suspension on this car. One, to make it feel luxurious, but two, to cope with the fact that it's a very heavy vehicle. Weighs in at 2.5 tons, which is a lot. Although when you're driving it, it doesn't feel like it's really heavy. Now I'm going to show you the pickup from this dual motor performance version, which has over 500 horsepower. So I'm at 40, I'm going to count it in, I'm going to accelerate up to 70. This is how long it takes. 3, 2, 1, go. 70, just like that. And I'll tell you what, when you're cruising at 70, hardly any road noise at all, in fact none. All I'm getting is a bit of wind noise here. That's the only thing I'm noticing, but it's quiet, this car, it's relaxing, it feels sure-footed, it's very nice, seats are comfy too. I keep saying it, I'm impressed. I like the way this thing drives. Now let's check out the efficiency. So this particular car is averaging 2.6 miles per kilowatt hour. So when you multiply that out by the battery size, real world range of 270 miles. This particular version is supposed to do 350 miles. So it's about 80% of manufacturer's claim. However, I should point out that this car's current efficiency is based on driving over the past 400 miles, and over the past 400 miles it's been driven by a lot of motoring journalists. Let's just say they won't have been very conservative with their energy consumption, because they'll be wanting to thrash the car to see how quick it is. Speaking of which, let's chuck it down a twisty road and see how it handles. What I'm going to do is turn one pedal drive off so it coasts. In fact, I'll have it on low so it's like normal engine braking. And I'll put the steering in standard, and I'm going to go firm on the old suspension. Now, this being the performance version, you get a torque vectoring system on the rear axle, and what that means is that when you put it into a bend and you floor it, it can send power to the outside wheel to like help drive you around the corner, and you really notice it. Do you know what? With the suspension in firm, it's a bit too firm. Keeps it nice and flat through the bends, but I'd rather have a bit more movement. Yeah, that's better. I've got to say, the way this thing goes around corners and then accelerates out of them is insane. You can drive this really, really quickly. You would not know that it weighs 2.5 tons. So good. And you've got all the safety systems as well. So that was me accelerating too close to the car in front, which is actually my Porsche Cayenne, using it as their camera car. The handling on this is better than on that Cayenne Turbo. It's insane. I am surprised. The steering's a little bit dead, you don't get much feel through it, but that's the only complaint. The grip, the poise, the confidence this gives you, wow. I'll say it again, I'm impressed. I do think a BMW iX does have a slightly more neck snapping acceleration to really like blow your mind. And if you want to see my full in-depth video review of that car, click on the pop-out banner, follow the link in the description below. But in some ways, the more progressive feel to this is just nicer. And I think this handles better. Wow. Right, let's see how quick this car is from 0 to 60 miles an hour. So, specialist timing gear here, left foot on the brake, floor the throttle, release brake. .55. It's quick enough. It's not Tesla quick, but it's quick. So then, what's my final verdict on the new Polestar 3? Should you avoid it, consider it, shortlist it, or just go right ahead and buy it? Well, I reckon you should shortlist the Polestar 3. It really is a good all-round luxury electric SUV. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like. Let me know what you think of it in the comments below. Click on the video windows for some more videos, and on the CarWow logo to see how much you can save on your next car. Thanks for watching.